Good evening and welcome to ELOSOFUMARTAKES. I'm Bear Duplessis, your host as always, live from the Casa Cueva studios of Euless, Texas. This is our 50th take, our golden anniversary. Holy crap, I've done 50 of these and I have had sensational guests all this time. It has been absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. It's my absolute pleasure to bring in this evening's guest. You are not seeing double. So I realized as I sat down a second ago that I was actually wearing the same outfit I was wearing last weekend. Same shirt, different undershirt, same shirt, same hat. But the Red Sox are playing in the hopefully the World Series here in a few days, but the American League Championship Series. But I got to tell you, it's been a fantastic series so far. I'm going to talk a little bit about that, but mostly about cigars here to our guest of honor tonight. So without further ado, for our 50th take, we welcome in Mr. Erik D. Espinosa of Espinosa Cigars. Erik, how you doing?
Thank you for having me, man. Everything's all right. Thank you for having me. Congratulations on your 50th, man.
I thank you very much, and thank you for
5-0.
Yeah, my goodness, it's been an awesome year, man, and it all started. It all started at a very familiar place to you. It started at Zona Palooza 2017, and here we are coming up on Zona Palooza 2018. So, and for those people who don't know, you are actually a returning guest. You were the fourth take, and you are now coming back for the 50th. My shortest yet sweetest take was the fourth take. So
I think it was my shortest one ever too. That's when I had that raspy voice, couldn't talk.
I gotta tell you, man, you were an absolute all-star that weekend, dude. You were sick as a dog, man. You couldn't talk, you could barely speak, and you were still hustling and bustling and making sure that everything was going great. Working, of course, with all the fabulous folks down at Espinosa and making sure that we all felt like we were freaking kings that weekend. It was fantastic. And so
thank you.
How many hours did you sleep, or how many days did you sleep after we left?
Man, after you guys leave, it's the pickup and organizing for the next day for you guys to, be able to come and enjoy the day 2 and day 3. I don't get home 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I get in at 7, 8 o'clock. Make sure you guys have your, coffee ready for you guys, your little pastelitos and stuff like that. So it's definitely not much sleep, but it's all worth it at the end. Definitely, as long as you guys have a good time, that's what it's all about.
Oh man, it was. I had the time of my life, man. I didn't know what to expect. I honestly didn't know what to expect. I mean, I knew it was gonna be fun. Don't get me wrong, but I didn't really have any expectation. I didn't really know what was going down, and I was floored by the whole experience. How welcoming everybody was, how accommodating everybody was, how friendly everybody was. It was like it's like I was back in Texas, except for surrounded by great manufacturers and great cigar people, and it was just truly fantastic. So for people who don't know what Zona Palooza is, this is a really unique experience, and you guys are doing your 3rd annual one here in a couple of weeks. This is a really unique experience that you guys have. Right. And you guys do this too. You guys do tours down in Nicaragua at La Zona, the actual factory, and then other companies do tours and stuff. But you guys have like this annual fan appreciation, invite only bash. Like, what was the idea behind it? Like, how did you guys get started with this? And I know it's kind of blossomed into its 3rd year, but kind of tell us about the beginning of why you guys decided to do this.
Yeah, absolutely. It was, we were all sitting down, and my dad wanted to create something different, something nobody's ever done before. And, a lot of cigar manufacturers will definitely take out the store owner out to dinner, wine and dine them, which, sometimes stuff like that has to be done. But we wanted to do a big appreciation to the actual fans that go into the humidor and buy our product and post our cigars and, support us. So we wanted to give them a big thank you. So, the first one was a lot smaller than what it has become today, but, we grabbed the top 50 people that post our product, and we said, hey, we'll take care of, your food, come down, your cigars, drinks and everything, and we're going to have a good time. And we threw a 3-day party, and it's just a big thank you to everybody that supports, the Espinosa brand. and they're in Cornelius and Anthony as well. Protocol, where all the cigars that we make for other people, all their big fans. We're a big family here.
It really is, and it's really interesting. I want to talk a little bit more about y'all's setup here in a second, but just to kind of go on the numbers kind of thing. So you started with the top 50 in the first year, and then how many people came out last year? Like, what we had about 150 people, right? It felt about.
Well, yeah, invited was probably around 70, 75. This year, it's getting crazy. You know what I mean? But you see, it works for us. So we try to we as long as you're supporting us, we're gonna support you. So you have a right. As long as you post our stuff and you support us, then you're gonna get an invite, and we're going to support you guys and come down and have a great time.
What was really unique about this too is just the fact that this started as like you said, like a fan appreciation and everything, and it's something very unique that you guys do there, and it's kind of morphed into, not only is it a fan appreciation, but this is an event covered by the media. I was there as a member of the media last year. We did a live broadcast of the Cigar Coop Primetime Special Edition. We're going to do it again this year. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make this year.
How come? Everything all right?
Yeah, everything's fine. So I actually have I actually have a 9 to 5 job. A lot of people think that I just do this for a living, and that would be obviously really sweet one day. But I have a 9 to 5, and our annual member conference is actually that weekend, and I'm actually a speaker at that conference. It was booked about 8 months ago and everything. So I mean, there's absolutely no way for me to get. I was I don't think I've been that bummed in a while. I was pretty upset that they fell on the same day, man. I was even trying to figure out how, if I could come like for just one day and stuff, and it just wouldn't. It just still, even logistically, by the time I got in, realistically, I'd be there for like 2 hours before y'all shut it down. It just wouldn't work. So it's too bad. But I will. Yes, absolutely. I will be a part of. We will be broadcasting again Thursday night, so I will actually get out of the conference in time to join my friends on the Cigar Coop Primetime broadcast, Aaron and Will, and we'll be doing it again. But I'll be switching places with Aaron, because Aaron will actually be there this year, and I'll be doing it from remote. So it'll still be a lot of fun, man. It'll be a lot of fun. But I mean, like I said, this is covered by the media. We had Erik from Cigar Dojo came out, and they did a Smoke Night Live. You had KMA Radio.
Yep.
I mean, it's become a big deal now. Cigar Federation and Developing Palates are heading out there as well. So it's become a media covered event. So this isn't just like, your buddies getting together and slapping each other on the back. This is a first of all, it's a revolutionary idea, but it's also something that is absolutely worthy of media coverage. I mean, I just think it's fantastic the way that you incorporate not only fans, but also the partners that you have in the business. Was that kind of part of the vision all along, to incorporate Cornelius and Anthony, Cabarqueño?
Yeah, definitely. It's all family based, and then the way that you're explaining it just makes us that much more exciting, because it was such a small idea and something so different that we didn't even know if it was going to work. We didn't know if everybody's going to take time out of their day or out of their week to come down to Miami and want to spend 3 days with us. And it's grown so big, and it's just a blessing, to be honest. It's a blessing that so many supporters appreciate what we're doing, and it's an appreciation back to them. And a big thank you to you and everybody else and all the other media guys that come down here and actually promote what it is that we're doing. That's the goal.
It was a phrase coined by Hector last year that I didn't truly appreciate it as it was being said, but he was saying, look at the internet this weekend, guys. We own the internet. That was the quote. We own the internet. And I went back, and I was posting frequently on social media too that weekend and stuff. I mean, it was just a great time, as I mentioned, and it was unbelievably crazy how that statement was dead on accurate. There was so many on every forum, every medium, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everything. There was just so much La Zona, and it was it was really impactful. I was, at the time when he said it, I thought it was kind of verbose. I thought it was just like for posterity, and I mean, I knew there was some truth to it, but I looked back and it was unbelievable how. And think about the court in the grand courses thing, 70 people, 150 people. That's a large party. Don't get me wrong. That's a large event to handle for 3 days. I'm not making light of it, but in the grand scheme of it, when you have 150 people of the smart cigar smoking community, but how it dominated social media was just absolutely crazy. Was that something also that was in your plans? Was like, hey, we want to thank all of our fans, but we want to also continue kind of exposing the people who aren't here to what is going on and the excitement around the Zona family?
It's grown so organically. It was not supposed to be what it is today. Definitely not. And like you said, everybody, all the news media that has come and has made it as big as we appreciate it, but it was definitely not supposed to be as big it is today. Definitely not.
So let's talk about this family, Zona family. So you've got several brands that you guys take care of. So it's, of course, Espinosa Cigars is the headliner. Zona is the factory, and you guys make incredible cigars. And the blending that goes into it by your master blender Hector and Erik, your father. The blends are so complex and so different. You have such an array of a portfolio. You guys have Espinosa, Cabarroqueño, Cornelius and Anthony. Now, do you guys do anything with DeCrossi, or do you just distribute them?
We distributed them last year.
You guys have distributed Crux, so that has nothing to do with the blending. But who am I missing as far as what goes on inside?
We make also for La Sirena. We make a blend for La Sirena.
La Sirena, that's right.
Private labels.
Danny's gonna kill me next time he sees me.
No, it's all good.
And not just for being a Red Sox fan, but so you got and this is a really, really, really unique portfolio, and I've had this conversation with other people in the past. Was it something like when these companies like approached you about coming into the fold that it would just seem like the right fit, or do you guys like that challenge of really diversifying yourselves to be able to make so many different cigars for so many different people? I've asked Hector about the challenge, and I know, I mean, he's done an incredible job working with these people as your father has. I mean, what is it about, like, for example, when you've welcomed in another company into the fold, what's that process like, and how do you guys decide who makes the cut, so to speak?
Right. There's a lot of different things that go into it. Make sure that if they already have a product, that we like the product that they have. We don't want to make something that's completely out of our wheelhouse. So when Cornelius came, they have, medium, full body cigars, complex cigars. We came over and then we started making some blends for them that they liked, and that worked. Cabarroqueños had a good relationship with my dad and Hector, and they wanted full body stuff. So, I have a great relationship, and we made that work. Danny had a blend before. He liked spicy cigars. He liked medium bodied, complex cigars, and we made that work. As long as we have a good relationship with them and we can work together, then there shouldn't be an issue. We have a factory. We're in the business of making cigars, and we just, don't want to make a bad cigar for anybody and continue to grow our business. As long as we can help you grow your business, then we're growing our business.
Absolutely. I think that's the thing that just fascinates me the most about y'all's operation, is just how incredibly diverse the portfolio is, considering the size of it, because Zona's is a smaller factory when you consider some of the other factories that are in Nicaragua, Drew Estate, my father, etc. I mean, the Zona is smaller than those two by comparison, but yet the quality and diversity of cigars that comes out of that factory, it really blows my mind.
That's a big thing for Hector. Hector has done a real good job with that. That's a big thank you to him.
I mean, hats off.
Definitely with the with the amount of stuff that we're able to do out of that small factory, it's a big hats off to Hector, definitely.
Yeah, he's done an absolutely incredible job, and we've had him on this show twice, and I've of course done some other projects with him as well on with Coop, and I mean I think every time. Yeah, absolutely. And every time I talk to him, I have, I just nerd out some more with him, and I talk about different stuff with blends and things like that. But he's just in a cavern of knowledge. And it's really impressive what he's been able to do with you guys. And so speaking of one of these projects, let's talk about what we're smoking tonight. Now I'm going back to my old faithful, my old classic, the number one cigar of the year for ELOSOFUMARTAKES for 2017, which was the Espinosa Habano number two. So,
I
but
got the La Se Provincia.
Las Seis Provincias, the LHB.
LHB edition, yes, sir.
Okay, so we were talking about this project a little bit before we were on air. So, for those who don't know, this is a really, really very personal project for you. And so, tell us a little bit about it and what makes it unique and different from some of the other projects that have come out of Zona.
Right. So, I mean, I'm more of the back end of the business. My father's the one that travels a lot. He's the face of the company, and Hector does a lot of the blending in Nicaragua.
As he sits over your right shoulder, he is the face of the company.
Correct. There you go.
Or left shoulder. It's my right, your left. Sorry.
Right. And I have a lot of business here, a lot of time at the office, and I used to work retail, so I've had a lot of different ideas of what I think might work, and a lot of ideas get shot down, maybe because I'm young or for whatever reason be. My dad's been in the business for 20 years, so he's seen it all. So this time I said, you know what, I'm going to create it from beginning to end, and then when I'm completely done with the product, I'm going to present it to him, and he fell in love with it. I showed him, my ideas, where it's coming from, what it's going to be, what it's going to become, and he fell in love with it. And he said, absolutely, just rock and roll with it. And that's where La Se Provincia came out.
I love that banner behind you, man. What a beautiful piece of artwork. It's fantastic. This is the iconic box that we were talking about before the show. What's really unique about it, if you hold that up for one more second, Eric, I want our viewers to see this. So it sits on a base and it actually does swing.
Yeah, so it sit on the shelf and then it presents itself.
Exactly. Look at that. It's perfect. And it can sit flat too, and it does the job just as nice. But with it sitting at an angle, it actually presents itself. And I commented on a video in Michael's. I do videos in our humidor at Michael's Tobacco here in Texas, and I was talking to a colleague of mine about this, and what I said was really unique about this is, yes, this is a box like any other, completely unique, but it's also respectful for the retail space. Were you thinking about that, considering your retail background?
Yeah, we already had a falling out on one of our products, which was our Zona. We had an 80 count box that everybody loved the cigar, but we kept on getting complaints that it was, not shelf friendly. So we created it into a 20 count. And then, the product continues to do well for us. But then when I created something different, I wanted to go all out. So, a lot of people do jars. The problem with the jar is that it has to work standing up. You got to put it next to the register. Then it has to be an impulse buy. And I haven't really seen too many jars be successful and to become, other than limited editions. I wanted to go all out on this one. I wanted to do something completely different. And that's where it led me. And that's who, I was able to create this product that's shelf friendly, something different, something nobody's ever done before. And I think I was pretty successful in doing it. So everybody here was as a team.
Absolutely. So we'll talk about the blend here in a second, but let's keep talking about the idea and the concept behind it. So the 6 provinces translated, Las Seis Provincias.
Las Seis Provincias.
So it's the 6 original provinces of Cuba, right? That's the project. And so the idea, Eric, and correct me if I'm wrong, the idea is to release an edition each year.
Correct. Yep.
Each year to honor each of these original 6 provinces. Oh. Now, for those who don't know, the reason why you chose this was because you want to pay homage to your father's homeland, which is Cuba.
Correct.
And so what was significant about honoring the provinces? What kind of was your thought process behind that?
It was more for my grandparents, man. It's actually it's sad. I mean, not to bring it up, but my grandmother just actually lost one of her brothers, and it's sad that I'm born here in this country and I can go to Cuba tomorrow. But my grandmother that lived there for so many years, she has to wait for a visa. and she waited for a visa, waiting for a visa, waiting for a visa. Doesn't come. Unfortunately, another one of her family members passed away. So the visa finally came in time, and she was able to go. And to me, it's just an homage to a better time in Cuba before the so-called revolution. So that's why those are the original 6. So after the revolution, now if you Google it, they probably have 14, 15 different provinces. So this is, an homage to the 6 original when they had better times.
That's really deep. That's kind of taking it just to another level. I mean, there's so many things that you could have. There's so many different directions that you could have gone in honoring, your family's homeland and everything like that. I really like that. Me being the history buff, of course, I like that. But I like going back a little bit further and finding some deeper meaning there. That's really beautiful. Not to wax too poetic about it, but that's really beautiful.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah. So, and then with all of the artwork is a famous Cuban artist down here, Eding, and I really wanted to get somebody that actually knew what it was. I did my homework. I did, for each province what it was, but I wanted to get an artist that has done these paintings before, that knows what he's painting, that knows the meaning behind the paintings, and I think he did a phenomenal job with it, and I'm appreciative to him as well.
He really did, man. I'm really chomping at the bit to see the artwork on the future pieces, man. I think you really knocked it out of the park with this one. So let's talk a little bit about the blend. Did you okay? And it's a buzzword, and everyone in the industry hates it. But was the goal to create something? And I'm going to use it, and I'm sorry, Cuban-esque, or did you want to create something all your own and a specific vision? What was
I had something that my flavor profile. My dad's is he likes strong, spicy. Hector likes smooth. Everybody in here has different profiles, and I wanted to create something that had a little bit. When you light the cigar up, you're gonna get a little bit of spice, just reminding you that it's Nicaragua. Then you're gonna get a lot of flavor with my father's Espinosa. Then you're gonna get some smoothness at the same time, Hector's, and then the flavor profile of just stuff that I really like to find in a cigar. So I literally wrote down all this stuff to Hector, and he gave me a cigar, and he goes, "This is something that we worked on already. What do you think?" I said, "This is great." He went to Nicaragua. He changed it up some different stuff, and he came back with exactly ideally what I want. It's just a real big thank you to him.
When I first smoked this cigar, I was wowed because we do this thing, and sometimes in the humidor at Michael's where we call it the game, where we go through, we take off the label and we hand it to one of our colleagues and we say, "Smoke it and tell me what you think." And the idea is, yes, the fun part is trying to guess what it is, but it's also to have no preconceived notions of a cigar.
Right.
And so a lot of times we can narrow down the cigar. We're like, "Hey, this is made in X factory. This is the type of tobacco in it," right? And we kind of pick it apart until we try to figure out what it is. And I got to be honest, when I lit the cigar up, it did not have that Espinosa,
right,
that Espinosa feel to it, man. But it was unbelievable. Not that your cigars aren't complex, but the complexity was so different than anything you guys had ever done. And I was just so impressed by how balanced it was, and how it really overcooked. Because sometimes you can kind of get really flavor heavy, and it like if it's too much of a roller coaster, then it's kind of a distraction and stuff. But there's so many flavor complexities in this particular cigar, and it really, really wowed me how it all tied together and made for an incredible smoke. I really, really enjoyed it. It was
Thank you,
really,
man. I
really
appreciate
well done.
that. Thank you so much, man. I really do appreciate it. It's exactly what I wanted. It's dream come true to be able to come out in the industry and be able to put a stamp in it, and show a product that I'm really happy with, that the whole team of Espinosa worked on, and it's like I said, a dream come true.
Yeah, hats off to you guys, man. And just an unbelievable smoke. So we've talked about your dad a little bit tonight, and we've referenced him as your father and everything. For those who have been living under a rock, we're talking about Erik Espinosa. But this is a very special year for your dad. This is his 20th year in the business. And I'm going to be completely unprofessional because my phone just went off, and I know it's the score of the game. And
Tell me.
The Red Sox won 7-5.
Congratulations.
So all is right with the world. I'll watch the replay when we get done. So,
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. So, I wish I had my beer to celebrate, but I'll be toasting with that later. But this is a really incredible year and a really momentous year for your father. This is his 20th year in the business. And if I could recap a little bit and correct me if I get something wrong along the way, but the thing that I respect most about your father is that his 20 years in the business hasn't been this isn't like your traditional 20-year anniversary where he's been manufacturing cigars for 20 years and he's been in the business for 20 years and he's done literally everything.
When he first started, he started working for a different cigar company. He was packing boxes. He went from packing the boxes into that cigar company to becoming a salesman. Then he won Salesman of the Year. Then he went independent. Then he started working for 5-6 different brands. Then he owned his own cigar shop. And then he had to close down the cigar shop because the person next door didn't like smoke and they shut him down. Then he, what else did he do? So he was a distribution for cutters and lighters. Then he called me. I was 2 years in college and he gave me a call and literally said that he's tired of making everybody else money. That he wanted to build something for himself and for both of us. You want to join me? So after all that, he went over to Nicaragua and bought a factory. And now we're running Espinosa Cigars. So literally from packing boxes to owning a factory. It's one of those stories.
And that's something that I absolutely love about his journey. Not that people who don't have that unique of a journey don't have an impressive resume, but I think the fact that he has done literally everything in the business allows him to appreciate every single part of the process. And with that comes obviously experience, but also a know-how on how to get things right at every level. And I think that's probably one of the most impressive things. So you guys created a cigar to commemorate this momentous year.
Yeah, he came out with, it's funny, he didn't even want to do it. He didn't want nothing to do part with the 20th year. This is something that me and Hector actually pushed him on and said, you have to do something. You know, you're a somebody in this industry. And no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to come out with, and he came out with the Espinosa 20th. Erik Espinosa.
Oh my gosh, that's a beautiful box. That's awesome.
With this box, you can tell that it was, prior to the FDA. That's why the logos had to be moved down. We were supposed to put the stickers here and all that, but made before the FDA. But luckily, we got a buyer.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's a blend that he's constantly smokes. He has his own little. Constantly likes to smoke, and we blended it up for him. We showed him the design, and he said, "I love it." And then he said, "Oh, I'm only doing 500 boxes. That's it." So it's a limited box of 500 boxes. He didn't want for it to be. I don't know if you can see it there.
There you go, 422 of 500.
Yeah. And we released it at the show, and pretty much sold out.
So you talked him into the cigar. Did you talk him into keeping the first box?
Yeah, we actually just got him in, so I got to look for him and get him to him.
Okay.
So we got him in on Friday. Put him in the humidor.
You're in for a fight. I have a feeling you're in for a fight because he's probably gonna want to get that.
I'm sure we'll give it to him without a fight, definitely.
That's fantastic, man. Yeah, congratulations to him on a incredible career thus far, and it's only going to get bigger and better for him and for you guys, for sure. Now, I wanted to start with this, but I really wanted to get right into the cigars and stuff. We were talking before the show, and you told me a story that literally blew my Red Sox loving mind. So in 2004, for people who don't know, 2004, Red Sox win a World Series for the first time in over 100 years. And, well, it felt like 100 years, but in 80 years at that time. And so two entire generations of Red Sox fans has never experienced victory and everything. But there were some iconic moments in this series. And one of them was Game 2, the Bloody Sock. And my friend here, Erik Espinosa,
I was present.
Was in the stands.
I was there. Absolutely.
So so you were there. You were there with your dad. So how did this happen?
So there's a store down here in Miami called Villar Cigars. So his father-in-law is John Cicada, or his sister's father-in-law is John. I'm not exactly sure. And John Cicada was supposed to sing the national anthem Game 7. And for some reason, the Villar couldn't make it. So he called my dad up. He knew that we were both big baseball fans, and he said, "Hey, do you want to go? It's tomorrow." So we call the airline, we book a flight, we try to find a hotel. There's no hotels. And we say, you know what, we'll figure it out when we get there. So we got there, we landed, got a taxi, and I think it was the next day to the stadium, walking by. And I don't know if you've been there, but I was walking by and we completely passed it. Can't even tell that the stadium is there. The architecture in that city is beautiful. I had no idea. And they're like, yeah, you just passed it. I'm like, looking back, I'm like, where is this? And
what do you mean we just passed it?
Yeah, the architecture there to me was I saw the hot dog stands outside, and they did all the sausage and stuff like that, but it was just all brick. Everything looked the same. And then you see a big poppy thing, and everybody's selling the Yankee suck shirts. And we walked in, and we saw Game 1 behind the pesky pole, and then Game 2 was the bloody sock behind another freaking green pole. My dad telling me when the pitched, and I'm telling him he strike, and it was like a tennis match, but it was a time of my life. It was awesome. We had a great time. And I could always, every time I tell somebody from Boston or New England, I tell them that story, they get really upset because they tried their hardest to get tickets and they couldn't get it.
Oh man, that's incredible.
We're sitting next to some season ticket holders that have no idea, that have been season ticket holders for generations and generations and generations. And here we come, some guys from Miami, all of a sudden we're here to see their World Series. They weren't too happy.
Wow, man. That's awesome. I can't believe you were there for that game. I can't believe Eric's never told me that story, man. I'll have to get his memories from that day, those days from him. That's next time I see him. That's man, that whole story just warms my heart and everything. That's fantastic. So like
it was a great time. It was a great game too.
So you two have a very unique relationship, obviously father and son and everything. No, I didn't talk to you about this question, but I'll go ahead and turn it there for a second. What's probably, if you, I know you got a bank full of memories and everything, but like, what's one of your favorite father-son moments that you've done with your dad inside the business, outside the business? I mean, just something that you just remember. It's like one of your favorites.
I always appreciated, I played a lot of baseball, a lot of travel baseball. And he was a rep for cigars. He was constantly traveling. So I really always appreciated. I don't think he ever missed a game. I'll be in Miami and he would be in Tampa, and he'd book early events and he'd make them down. And I really always appreciate it. I never really appreciated it when I was a kid or much younger. I really had no idea. But now that I'm older and I realize that, he would, sometimes I get mad because he showed up in the third inning, But he'd come into the third inning running down, making sure that my pants were down, that my socks weren't showing, and my belt was tucked in right, and my shirt was all the way in. So my hat wasn't crooked. So that was probably, a big appreciation that I had from him. In the business, when he made me the vice president, when he asked me to become the vice president of the company. That was pretty cool, and having trust in me and fulfilling his dream, and our dream and growing together. I know that was a big step, and those two things were real heart touching, I guess, for me.
Absolutely, man. Like a great moment from your childhood and a great moment for you as an adult. So being the vice president of this company and bring the second generation into the cigar business. And I kind of asked you this question in the fourth take. We didn't get really too far into it, but what does it mean to you, Erik D. Espinosa, to be the second generation to carry this torch in this business and take it to, because eventually, he's far from it, but eventually your dad's going to retire.
Yeah, he wants to be on vacation and just receive checks. That's what he's told me a couple of times. He wants me to start traveling and to switch places, and so he could be home and watch Dolphins lose every Sunday. Actually, we got a win today, though.
I know,
that
yeah,
was
you
pretty
got to
cool.
win against the Bears. So
We finally got a kicker, so that was pretty cool. I thought Khalil Mack was going to destroy our quarterback.
Oh man,
Yeah, what it
Mack's
means to me, no, I definitely want to be able to grow this business and take it to the next level. You know, he's like we spoke earlier, he's been in every single aspect of this business, but I bring a little bit more of the younger side of it. You know, I worked a lot of retail. He owned the retail shop, so I worked the retail shop. I know what people look for. I know what catches people's eyes. So I got that aspect. So that's why I like to do a lot of different stuff. You know, our Laranja, we did the orange band so it can pop. It's got, something different. La Bomba, some of the La Bomba sizes, the F bomb, they have catchy names, a lot of the different stuff. We like to do how do I explain it? Crazy, but not gimmicky, if that makes any sense.
No, absolutely. There's an edginess to it.
Right.
And trust me, man, Coop and I have this discussion all the time, man. I'm an anti-gimmick person. I hate gimmicks when it comes to cigars because they do not work. I don't care how good the cigar is. It drives me absolutely bonkers. But no, there's a nice edginess to a lot of your cigars. There's a nice classicness to them, like the Espinosa Habano, what I'm smoking right now, the Las Provincias, very classic looking. And so it's not all that edgy, more modernistic thing. And that's really great that you're kind of having some of that input in there and really bringing the next generation into it. It's not just about carrying the torch into the next generation. It's bringing the next generation of smokers with you. And I think that's something that's pretty awesome. The last thing that I think we'll end on real quick and we'll call it a night. And Eric, I really appreciate your time tonight. I know how late it is there in Miami, but
no worries. Thank you for having me, man.
If you could go back and in some weird vortex of time and everything, and if you could have the same journey that your dad did, being able to do everything at times, do you think that Espinosa Cigars would still come to be if it was you instead of your dad? Like I said, weird vortex of time machine travel and everything like that. But if it was you and you had gone through the same journey, and said, do you think Espinosa would look the same as it does today, or would it be a little bit different?
No, definitely not. This company won't be anything without my father. He has every single. He's not only the face, he's the heart, he's the soul, he's everything that has to do with this company. Everybody that's underneath my father, we just are help him to the best of the ability. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure if I understand the question the right way, but this company wouldn't be anything nowhere near to what it is without him.
No, it was a really funky question, man. I think that your answer is your answer. I think what I was trying to say is if you had gone to the same similar experiences, do you think you would have ended up in the same place? But manufacturing your own cigars and stuff was kind of what I was going after. But I think that still kind of proves the point that all the great people that are involved, you, Hector, all the office staff, all the workers down at Zona and everything, your father's still very much the beating heart of Espinosa Cigars and has made it what it is today and will continue to be for a number of years until he starts just collecting those checks and you
collecting those checks and watching Dolphins lose.
Lead it into
that's all he wants to do. And hopefully maybe one day we can watch Marlins playoffs. Maybe one day.
It's got to happen at some point, man. It's just
we trade away a Triple Crown winner. Then we traded away Yelich, another MVP. We traded Stanton, another MVP. Who else? It's
the list is long and distinguished.
Yeah. We get to celebrate. We have Derek Jeter now. Great.
You guys will get it right one day. You guys have gotten it right several times before. It'll happen again, man. What happens after the next time you guys win? That's the real test. That's what I've been telling people. When the Marlins win again.
From your mouth to God's ears, man. Hopefully.
It'll happen, man. It will happen. So, Eric, really, absolutely, positively, really appreciate your time. Thank you for everyone who tuned in. It was an absolutely fabulous 50th take. This was our 50th
Congratulations,
take.
50, man.
Thank you very
Congratulations.
much. A golden anniversary. Fantastic. Be sure to tune in next week. We have a fantastic take with a couple of guys from Cigar Federation, Dennis and Trip. We'll have a very special take for you then. And then our 1 year anniversary, 52 takes. Our 1 year anniversary will be with someone you're very familiar with, Eric.
Who's that?
Mr. Tim Wong, Pier 28 Cigars.
Oh,
Another
yeah?
fantastic cigar company.
That's right.
That you
That's
guys
right.
make cigars for. And Tim was my first take. So it's coming. We're bringing it around full circle, man. We are bringing it around full circle. He will be on our 52nd take as well as our first take. And I know it'll go awesome. And so I have a feeling that we might see this as an annual thing with Tim. So he does an awesome job for you guys as a rep and also a brand owner as well.
Absolutely. I love traveling out there with Tim. I love it.
I've seen you guys in some great pictures.
I love when he takes me to all those weird, not weird, I would say his Chinese restaurants, man. We always eat some weird stuff. It's a good time over there with him.
It's all about the genuine product out there, man, for sure.
Yeah.
So for everyone out there, we really thank you, Eric. For everyone out there, we really appreciate all your likes, shares, and comments, and especially your time. Be sure to like our Facebook page, ELOSOFUMAR, as well as subscribe to this channel, ELOSOFUMAR, on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram at ELOSOFUMAR, and follow us on Twitter at ELOSOFUMAR as well. We really appreciate everything. Thank you so much again to our guest of honor tonight, Erik D. Espinosa of Espinosa Cigars, Vice President himself, second generation, sitting in with me tonight. As always, I'm Barry Duplessis, live from the Casa Cueva studios of Euless, Texas. This was our 50th take. And as always, we really appreciate you, and we'll see you next time.